This is the Girls of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today we're talking about how would it look like if we massively saturated the world with 3 girls in love. We have to understand the importance of the family as a cell in the grander body of the world. If the cells functioned correctly, then the world can evolve and improve and become better and live forever. But if the cells are not working, eventually the body would self-destruct. We've got to figure out how to make the family unit function in the long run and in the big scheme of things. Look at your own life and look at your own family. Did your family work? Was it dysfunctional? Most probably it was. It almost always is dysfunctional. Those families that actually are functional, those few and far between families, they end up creating amazing children who take care of themselves and who contribute to society by taking care of those that they love. And how is it that a family becomes dysfunctional or actually becomes functional? It all has to do with the relationship between the mother and father. If that relationship doesn't work, guess what? The family is not going to work. And each are going to go separate ways and find and create new families of their own, which most probably also will not work and be dysfunctional. And then if they don't settle, they'll again break up again and go and create another new dysfunctional family. What do you think is going to come from these families? What do you think is going to be part of these children's lives? They're going to go through life feeling neglected. They're going to be blaming their parents, and they're going to also blame their future partners. And it's going to continue in a cycle that is never ending because kids are not being emotionally fulfilled. When parents love each other, their kids love them and they love their kids. The most important thing a father can do for his children is to love their mother. If you want to understand how to make a beautiful world, you've got to understand what makes up this beautiful world, and that is families, couples who have children. And those children are either better than their parents or perhaps worse than their parents. If they're better than their parents, then guess what? Each next generation is going to be better and better and better, as long as we keep progressing in understanding the truth of that which works in the long run and in the big scheme of things. And have you thought about what is it that makes a relationship between a man and a woman work? It's attraction. They have to be attracted to each other. No man or woman in their right mind will voluntarily enter into a family structure together to create a family and to create children without there being some sort of sexual attraction. If it's not present, there's gonna be a lot of issues in that marriage. And most probably, this is the biggest reason why couples separate and divorce. If the sexual attraction actually functioned, if it worked, if couples were attracted to each other and had sex on a continuous basis and fulfilled each other emotionally that way, no families would break up. The father would love the mother, and the mother would love the father. Because there's pleasure, because there's love, because there's happiness and fulfillment. When that fulfillment is in place, the kids look up at their parents and see, my parents are happy. I want that same happiness. If I can get the same amount of happiness that my parents have, my life would be fantastic. And what they end up looking for is exactly that. They look for the opposite sex that they're sexually attracted to, and then they hope that they can be the best person possible in order for that relationship to work. So the other person of the opposite sex will continue to be attracted to them. And if they manage to actually keep that sexual attraction going, guess what's going to happen to the generation that they create together? Those kids will look up at their parents and see, wow, they're so happy. That's what I want for me. This continues in the long line of generations continuously evolving and improving and becoming better and happier and richer and more fulfilled and healthier and more excited about life and future. And the reason why it hasn't been working is because monogamy is not conducive for attraction. Women were not designed to be alone in a partnership with one man. They were supposed to be with two other women to create the optimal balance between the man and the women in that relationship. Women need other women to be sexually attracted in their man in order for them themselves to be attracted in that man. When a woman is dating a guy, she's just dating him, which means that she has the potential of losing him to another woman whom she does not have any relation with. That's a problem. And so she does everything that she can to get his attention and to keep his attention and to serve him in whatever way possible and to be feminine and to help him because she doesn't want the other woman to win. This is exactly what happened to me in my relationship with my wife. The only reason why she was fired up and excited about getting married to me and was like desperate towards getting married to me and would not give up was because I had another potential woman that I wanted to date. You know, I'm not sure about our relationship because I've got this other girl. And that got my now wife fired up outside her brain. And the other woman wasn't really that into me until she figured out that on Facebook I said that I was in a relationship with my now wife. And that was at the time we were just dating and steady dating. And now she's like interested in me all of a sudden. This is how women function. And if you think about it, you'll have noticed that exactly those same things have happened in your life. Understand the woman and you will understand the world. And what's awesome about it is that you just need to understand yourself. And you have tons of history, perhaps, of you dating guys where a lot of these things have been going on and you relate to the things that I'm talking about on this channel. The key here is to create emotional fulfillment in men, create emotional fulfillment in women, which will automatically create emotional fulfillment in their kids. Remember, if my parents are happy, I'm going to be fired up outside my brain. If my parents are unhappy, I'm going to keep looking in life for whatever it is that makes me happy. And that's going to be different for different people. However, what fulfills human beings is exactly the same for every single person out there. Connection. Being able to be included and accepted by people who love you. That's what creates joy and happiness. And the opposite being secluded from other people, having a lack of connection, and that is why people are depressed. They can't figure life out. They don't know why people won't like them and why they're being rejected all the time. It's because they're not applying that which works. The definition of truth. That which works in the long run and in the big scheme of things. If everyone applies the truth, everyone would be emotionally fulfilled. So let's apply the truth. What if we applied 3 girls in love? What would be the long-term benefits for society? Let's say 100 years from now, 200 years from now, let's say 3 Girls in Love has completely saturated and taken over the world. What is going on at this moment in time? Well, first of all, what you'll learn is in 3 Girls in Love, the men take 100% responsibility and the blame for everything that happens in their home and in their lives. They also are responsible for the protection of and provision for their women and children. Which means that if only 33% of men practice this, that means that 100% of women and 100% of children would be included in this family lifestyle and be emotionally fulfilled. And if those women are not emotionally fulfilled, they figure out pretty quickly within a few years of being together with this guy, before they have kids hopefully, they can leave the guy. And guess what? There are tons of other men who have a trusting relationship with their fathers, and together with their fathers, these women now can make a new selection of who they are to be with. This will happen once in a while, that they leave the guy that they've been with. However, we're talking about creating a long-term results. We're creating high-value women and high-value kids. Every single woman and every single child will be high value and emotionally fulfilled. And the ones who pay that bill will be the men that are responsible for protecting them and providing for them. And what the other 66% of men are doing is to continuously improve and become better and develop trusting relationships with the fathers in Three Girls in Love. Because if they do so, once a woman becomes of age, once she's 18 years old, she is now available on the market as a high-value woman together with her best friends in Three Girls in Love, and the right guy who has shown through his proven track record that he is a good guy, that he's a trustworthy guy, that he's got a strong financial foundation, that he's built up over the years because he's passionate about becoming a family man and receiving his own unit of women and children. This becomes a system that massively elevates every man's performance so that women don't have to work and survive. This makes it so that women can play, laugh, giggle, dance, sing, entertain, and do that which they want to do when they want to do it, and tap into their full feminine, massive potential. Without someone else who they love providing for them, they have to survive on their own and protect themselves. This is the system we're living in today, where tons of people are living in poverty because men are not fulfilling their duties, obligations, and responsibility to take care of women and children. In Three Girls in Love, the man will continuously work to create the best possible environment for his women and children. He has to live up to a certain standard in a society that would frown upon massive alcohol usage, drug abuse, gambling, and prostitution or casual sex. A masculine man in his right mind would never, ever want to lose these women. But because everyone is living this type of lifestyle, no man would get away with abuse over his women or children. There's too much communication opportunities these days so that men would not be allowed to go on for very long with unhappy women and children. And these women and children would be looking around in society at large and thinking, most people are happy. How come I can't be happy? And they'll know exactly who to blame. The man. He's always 100% responsible and 100% the one to blame. And if he can't handle that, he doesn't deserve those women and children. And there's plenty of other good guys with massively strong financial foundations ready and able to take care of these women and children if he simply gets the opportunity. When children are emotionally fulfilled, they'll be able to grow up in communities where there is no immodesty and casual sex, where there is no alcohol and partying and drugs. They'd be growing up in a society where other people understand what it takes to create happiness, to create happy families. These emotionally fulfilled kids would not be going around stabbing people, would not be going around doing bad things to good people, and they wouldn't be going to prison. They wouldn't be stealing either because they've got a father who is protecting them and providing for them so they don't have to fight and struggle in a tough world on their own. In Three Girls in Love, the men would be massively productive. Massively productive. Could you imagine? The women are actually in the home or out with their children, but they've got capacity. They have emotional capacity to take care of their kids because they're wise about their family planning together with birth control. And the men actually don't have to always come home right after work. Instead of working just 8-hour days, they can work 10-hour days and be fired up outside their brains about it and do that 6 days a week, knowing that everything is wonderful at home with the kids. Because the mothers would be there making sure that all of the children are included and are excited about life. And if there was a problem, it would be immediately solved because you've got 4 brains thinking about how to solve the problem and 3 of them that can work full time on solving it. As the men become more and more productive, they build businesses, they think innovation, they become entrepreneurs. And they help other men to do the same. They become responsible to bring up the future generation of men and pull them up so that they understand success and they understand what it takes and they understand how leadership works. That's what there's a shortage of, leaders. And we've got to figure out how to make men rise up and be motivated to become leaders and to attain power so they've got the ability to do and to help other people. Because they know as they help tons of other people, tons of people will help them back. And that will increase their chances for one day being allowed to have 3 girls in love families and children of their own to pass on their genes. Understand that men can easily take care of themselves. Those 66% of men who don't have women and children, they would have massive capacity to work, or also they could choose not to work. That's up to them. If they just want to travel the world and basically do not much with their lives, that's their choice. But if they want to one day have a family of their own, they've got to follow the system. They've got to earn the trust of fathers and of the society around them. Now, some researchers would say that, yeah, but if you've got 66% of men that don't have sexual access, that's going to create a lot of problems for society. Not necessarily. If there are very strict rules when it comes to force, if people force other people, that's a huge no-no, and they get very strict punishments for it. Obviously, according to the damage that they've done. But in a society like this, that would be the only problem. But men understand that if they were to be accused of any use of force to get what they want, they would ruin their reputation and their chance of ever having a family in the future. But you gotta remember that these men, since they're not able to reproduce without women, they're going to die out eventually, not having passed on their emotional instability to next generations. It will only be from 3 girls in love families where everyone's emotionally fulfilled because everyone's got capacity that there will come children. And these children are the ones who are going to grow up. And if they're told what they need to do in order to succeed by their fathers, then they'll be fantastic. And eventually, people won't be going to prison. People won't be forcing each other. And we end up creating a blissful society where everyone is fired up and excited about life. I'm fired up about the system. I'm fired up for you. I'm fired up about the society and the community that we're creating. This is only the beginning, and it's only going to become better and better and better. We're evolving in the correct direction. This is the Girls of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. I'll see you in the next video.